Like, do I need to meal prep? Yes, you do. Getting it out of these bloody bottles is hard work. Having a hot flash cold and the creme de la creme, forget it. Hello everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, hello. My name is Gabby. I'm 27. I live here in regional Victoria, Australia. I'm a qualified pastry chef, but I've just recently gone on maternity leave as I'm almost 37 weeks pregnant with baby number 2. So I'm currently a stay-at-home mum as I have a almost 2-year-old. I cannot believe that she will be 2 in literally 3 weeks. It just actually blows my mind. Anyway, it is time to meal prep. I'm 37 weeks tomorrow, so we are 3 weeks out from the due date. Amelia was born a week and a half early, so it could be in a week and a half, it could be 2 weeks, it could be 3 weeks, it could be 4 weeks. But we are not manifesting going into labor at 41 weeks. We want to go early, ideally early, ideally also not on Amelia's birthday, which is on the 1st, but so any other time, whether it would be before or after, I guess would have to just do. But anyway, we are up to the part where I need to now do the food prep. I did not do this last time and I have major regrets. So if you are pregnant and you were like, oh, like, do I need to meal prep? Yes, you do. I did not meal prep because I wanted to have some sort of normality when I was coming back home with Amelia, but I did not realize how bad my postpartum recovery could have possibly been. I was quite naive about that part. My recovery ended up being really difficult. I had an episiotomy and the doctor gave me very tight stitching, which was painful. And then I also ended up with a spinal migraine because I had the epidural. So the first week I could barely stand up. But also, now that we live out of town, I don't just have people bringing me food all the time, whereas when we lived at our other house, we lived literally around the corner from Nick's parents' house. But now that I live out of town, people won't be doing that this time around. And I have a toddler to feed, so I need to be prepared. So for this week, I will be mainly doing food prep. I'm going to do a couple of snacks. I'm going to do some muffins and pancakes for Amelia. And I'm also going to make a chicken and leek pie and a lasagna. These 2 meals make a massive lot of leftovers. It'll do like 6 to 8 serves of meals. I'm going to be doing those 2, mainly because they're the ones that I mostly pack like a shitload of vegetables in, which is perfect for when you're recovering. You need a lot of vegetables and fruit to help with your recovery. So those are the 2 like really big meals that I'm going to be making. And I'm also going to make up some zucchini fritters. Just it's an easy thing to heat up, and I can pair it with like chuck a bit of chicken in the oven with some potatoes. And then there's like other things that can be made, like we have homemade pizzas once a week usually, so that's an easy thing to just have. Or like Nick can just go to the butcher's and we can get something and just pair it with chips and salad. Like, it's very easy breezy. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I don't want to make like a shitload of meals because then I'm stuck with a shitload of food in my freezer afterwards. So that is the plan. So today I'm going to be making my chicken and leek pie. I was going to do the chicken and leek pie and lasagna today, but I had a midwife appointment and I got stuck there for ages. I was in the waiting room for over half an hour, and then I was in the appointment for half an hour, and then I had to go get the stuff before heading home and having lunch. So it's almost 2 o'clock at this point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the chicken and leek pie, and then for dinner tonight we're having some roast chicken with potatoes and zucchini fritters. I'm just going to make a really huge batch of the zucchini fritters and just freeze some of them for another day. So yeah, that's the plan. I really want to get this done this week because I'm starting to now get really bad Braxton Hicks contractions. I didn't have this with Amelia, so I don't know if that's just because I'm not religiously taking the raspberry leaf tea, whether that's making any difference. But this time around, I literally thought the other night I was going into labor. I was so unsure because the first time round I had a posterior labor, so all of my contractions were in my back, hips, thighs. I don't know what it feels like to have contractions in the tummy. Like, I don't know what I'm looking out for. And I just kept on having this like really intense pain down here, and it went on for like an hour, and I was totally convinced I was going to go into labor, but then it went away. So obviously I didn't go into labor. But when I was getting those like contractions, I was like, oh my god, I have not done my food yet. So now I just want to really get the food done, because this is pretty much like the very last thing that I have to get done, other than just doing some like deep cleaning jobs, which if I do them, I do them. If I don't, I don't. It's not that big of a deal. But the food is very important. So let's get into it. It's almost 2 o'clock and my mum's going to drop Amelia off probably in the next couple of hours. So I want to get at least this meal done and packed away and get started on making dinner for tonight. So let's get into it. I'm going to put all of the ingredients that you need for this meal up here. First lot of it is mainly just chopping everything up. So I'll quickly go and do that, and then I'll show you how to put it all together. Let's get into it. Jar. I can never friggin' open it. So I just have my potatoes boiling. I like to pre-cook them before I mix them in with the rest of the pie. I'm just letting the pot preheat. So I'm first going to cook my chicken with the leek and some garlic. And I'm just going to season it with a bit of salt, pepper, and the creme de la creme, Vegeta. Alrighty, and then I'm going to just let that cook until my chicken is golden brown and my leek is all cooked, and then I'll add in the vegetables. So now my chicken's all cooked, I'm going to add in my mushrooms and my zucchini. I'm also going to chuck in some broccoli and cauliflower that I had some left over from a few weeks ago when I made this last. I'm going to chuck that in there as well. Okay, while that cooks and softens and does what it needs to do, I'm going to get started on my bechamel sauce. I'm also just going to go get my pastry out of the freezer. I just use the Coles branded one. So, to make this bechamel, you're going to need roughly 30 grams of butter, 2 tablespoons of flour, just plain flour, until it makes a paste. And then you add 2 cups of warmed milk. And then you just mix that until it gets really thick. And I'm just going to season it with some salt, nice generous serve of salt. And I'm just going to finish it off with just a handful of some cheese. And that's it. Now you can change how thick or thin you want your bechamel. If you want it a bit thinner, you can just add a bit of milk, which is what I might possibly do. But if you want it thicker, then you just add cheese or just put a little bit less milk the next time you make it. For me, I'm just going to add a little bit of extra milk. Beautiful. And that's done. Now this mixture is ready for the sauce. So I'm going to drain my potatoes, chuck them in. Chuck my bechamel in, and I'm just going to put a bit more Vegeta seasoning because, well, it's friggin' delicious. Beautiful, and that's the filling done. Alright, let's put this pie together. So, spray your tray down. I couldn't tell you how big this tray is. This is just the tray that I use for when I make pie. So I've got here 3 pieces of pastry. I'm going to put one on one side, another on the other side. Just stretch it out and pinch it with the other one. And I've just got my filling here. There is no graceful way of me doing this because I'm left-handed, so you won't probably see me very well. Pour in your mixture and just spread it out evenly. Then I'm just gonna fold the sides over and press them down. And then I'm gonna grab a third piece of pastry and just chuck it on top. And then just press it in just so it sticks to the other two pieces of pastry. Now I do have like a little bit of leftover bechamel that I didn't put in pie, so I'm gonna use it and just put it on top of the pie. And then it's done. So I'm going to pop that in the oven for probably maybe half an hour, possibly do an extra 10 minutes. I'm just going to play it by ear at 180 fan force or 200 fan force. Usually I do 200. So 200 degrees Celsius fan force, half an hour, possibly an extra 10 minutes. And that's done.
We sway there in all the colors. Summer love, lonesome dove, folded on the lawn chair in all the colors. Summer love. Stop giving back. Honeysuckle, fresh cut grass. I could really use some stuff like that. The colors, summer love.
Amelia.
It's mommy.
Camera.
Your mommy.
Another day, another meal. It is the next day. I am making lasagna for dinner tonight, and then with the leftovers, I'm going to just chuck them in the freezer for postpartum. I don't think Nick is going to be home tonight. I think he's got to work dinner, so even better, saving an extra serve. I've already gotten started on chopping up everything for this lasagna because there's a lot of chopping up. So I've got all the ingredients up here on the screen. It is Missy's bone. So this is actually a vegetable lasagna recipe, but I've added meat to it. So this recipe is full of all different types of vegetables. You can add whatever vegetables you want, or don't add vegetables, totally up to you. And since this is a meal that's just bulked up with vegetables, it's perfect for postpartum, and also the perfect recipe to hide vegetables for a toddler, like my 2-year-old. So let's get into it. So I'm going to start it off by browning onion, garlic, and popping in my meat. I'll move this because this seems to be in the way. So the mince that I'm using is pork mince. I like to use pork mince when I'm doing like a pasta bake or lasagna or anything like that. I don't usually use beef mince. I feel like pork mince just has a better flavour. Now that that's all cooked, I'm going to just add all of my vegetables. Turn that off because that is loud and obnoxious. I'm getting very hot. Having a hot flash hardcore. While this cooks down, I'm just going to get all of the stuff that I need for when I make my bechamel. I make the exact same bechamel recipe as I did yesterday for the pie. So just reuse that exact same recipe. Alrighty, so my vegetables are almost cooked. I'm just gonna add a little bit of spinach because I've got plenty leftover spinach. So I'm gonna chuck some of that in there as well. Now I'm gonna use some passata. Now this is homemade passata. The texture of it is a lot different to store-bought passata. So I will just see how I go. I'm gonna just add one bottle because this is roughly about 700 mils of pasta sauce. I may add another half just depending on how the texture goes. Getting it out of these bloody bottles is hard work. Basil leaves out. Alrighty, so I'm just gonna let that simmer for like 15 minutes and just see how it goes. I may, as I said, I may add another like half a bottle or just maybe a little bit under half. Just see how it goes. It's looking not too bad, but we might add a little bit extra. I'm just gonna add some mixed herbs because it's just plain passata, so I'm just going to add a generous hand of mixed herbs. I'm not going to bother adding salt because the passata is preserved with a lot of salt, so I'm just going to add a bit of more pepper.
Mommy.
Yeah?
Mommy.
Yeah? Daddy's at work.
Mommy.
Yeah?
Mommy.
Ow. That's hot. Actually no, I'm going to add the extra bit of pasta sauce. Freeze the rest of the bottle. Okay, that's better. There's a basil leaf. Take that out. I'm just gonna let that simmer. I'm gonna make my bechamel and I'll show you how I assemble it all. Alrighty, so we're going to start off with popping a little bit of sauce at the bottom. And I'm gonna line the bottom with some slices of pumpkin. This is just butternut pumpkin. Then a layer of pasta sheets. Then I'm going to put a really big heaped layer of sauce. And then go again. So a layer of pumpkin. Now another layer of pasta sheet on top. And then the remaining of the sauce. Spread out like so. Then I'm just going to top it with the remaining of pasta sheets. And then top it off with bechamel. Again, left-handed, so there's no graceful way of me showing you this. I'm just going to spread this out evenly. Make sure it's covering all of that pasta sheet on the top. And that's done. Now I'm going to put it in the oven for probably about 45 minutes at 200 degrees fan force. And then when I take it out, I'm going to let it sit for about half an hour and then it'll be perfect and ready to serve.
I'm hushing the dog on the chain. I'm running up stones on the edge of the bend. Rally the troops for another refrain. I sing this softly to myself. I sing this softly to myself. I'm buried beneath the sand. There's no way to speak or reach out my hand. Watching the paper slowly unfold. Bracing for news that I can't bear to hold. While I'm singing this song to myself. I sing this softly to myself. sing this softly to myself.
I'm just in the middle of editing this video and I just thought I would sign it off here. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, then definitely give this video a thumbs up. If you're in the midst of organizing your own postpartum meals, I hope some of these meals were a bit of an idea of something that you might be able to make or want to make. We are almost at the finish line. Like, I'm 38 weeks right now. Like, yesterday I was literally saying that I have a full-blown ass baby in here. Like, there is a full-blown ass baby in here just hanging out, chilling, doing its thing, could literally be in the world if it wanted to, which is just wild to me. Like, this is my second baby and I'm still like in shock on how there's a baby in here. So definitely subscribe to follow along for more, because obviously baby is due any moment. Hopefully we can get out maybe one more video before the baby comes, but if not, it would be interesting if this will be my last vlog of me pregnant. So, but yeah, thank you all so much for watching and hopefully you all enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video.